Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Upper right corner we got Bonyth starting as the red Protoss. Bottom right corner we have Dewalt starting as the blue Protoss. This is Fighting Spirit Mania. Set score is 0-0 because we've got a completely new set, and I'm feeling more energized than I was when I realized there was more replays to do. For a minute I'm like, I'm done, and then I was like, oh no, we've got more replays. But Dewalt up 3-0 in the first set. If he wins this match, we will move on to the second set and we'll have the set score up to 1. Just so you guys know how it works. If you didn't already up to this stage, I'm not sure why you'd be joining in this late. But honestly, as we've been going through the sets, I've really appreciated these guys' level of play, like Bonyth being a half, knowing the timing to step in to maybe catch the probe scout a little bit earlier. Dewalt being able to dodge observers, just for raw timing, and it just makes me wonder how much of that is practice with these guys and how much is unconscious. But either way, it's really, really impressive. These guys look like they're staging up for... Actually, I had to restart this commentary about 3 minutes in, so I know they're going to start off with a 1 gate at the very least. Didn't get to see the follow-up tech, so it's still going to be fresh. Had like a weird... Have you guys ever had like a burp that gets caught? That was what I was dealing with, and I'm like, I don't want to commentate for a long period of time with this thing. So there you get this is going to be the too much information cast. But anyway, gateway dropping on both sides. I'll be interested to see if Dewalt opts for... Because here's the thing, when you're up 3-0 in a set like this, I guess it depends on like a number of things, because it's kind of like, are you playing to just win or are you playing to practice at this stage? Part of me wonders if these guys arranged a lot of this just to improve their PvP as well, because they're obviously their PvP stellar across the board. Dewalt, by the way, scouting top left. It looks like Bonyth scouting top left as well. So both players potentially going to get locked out of the scouting, depending on if there's an initial assimilator is dropped. We got the cybernetic score on both ends as well. And I was mostly also musing on positioning. Like, I feel like this is a good spot where you can kind of hide tech back here, right away from an observer. The last minute, the observer would come up here. But at the same time, if you're going for 1 gate into Robo or something along those lines to deal with like a 3 gate or 2 gate, you want that Reaver spawning as close to ramp as possible, so you'd usually put it down there someplace. So I guess this gives you the option to drop Templar tech, Citadel of Adun, things like that, back there. In the meantime, Bonyth... Oh, I take it back. So Bonyth scouting bottom left. Let's see if Dewalt goes to top right as far as a follow-up. First zealot is constructed, it looks like, on both ends. What I have not seen either of these guys do, which I have seen other players do, is just skip the initial zealot and go straight Dragoon. And I'm not sure if that's a feature of Fighting Spirit Mania or if that's just kind of a safety thing. I know a lot of pros do that as well, and I'm also wondering if that's just like a risk-cutting corner aspect of play. Dewalt finding the base is going to be able to slip through, just testing the front, not going to test it further. Range going to go ahead and queue up from him. It looks like we are going to see 1 gate Robo before range here from Bonyth. Now, previously this did not work out for Bonyth because Dewalt went 1 gate expansion. Well, partly because he scouted it out, but also because he went 1 gate expansion on top of everything else. Bonyth this time does have the information advantage where he's able to, in kind of the absence of information advantage, where he's able to block Dewalt out, so Dewalt doesn't know precisely what's going on. In the meantime, yeah, it looks like it's just range. This might turn into 1 gate into expansion, and this was that build that I was like, man, this is basically a counter. Talking to Raz, he was saying that happened in ASL as well. We didn't actually see it exactly. If you go back and you watch Mini versus Bisu, I believe, I tried to track it down. It looks similar, but not precise. And actually, Bisu, I think, played it even lighter. He actually went 1 gate expand into 2 gate and a delayed 3rd gate overall, which I thought was very, very risky. He played it very, very close to the nose. In the meantime, Dewalt is gone for a later robotics, so he'll have the range advantage. And I think Bonyth actually ends up... I've seen him do this a lot in builds, and I haven't seen a player... I'm not sure if Dewalt's punished him for this as of yet. But Bonyth oftentimes will just go for that delayed range, and that's given him like little pockets, advantages of tech, advantages of workers, advantages of Dragoons. And this time it looks like he's sneaking a Zealot out, so he's going to have 2 Zealots and 2 Dragoons out in the field. Looks like we are going to see a 3 gate Observer follow-up, by the way. And is Bonyth just going to stick to 1 gate? If he goes 1 gate Reaver, it is very defensible from that stage, although there are ways that Dewalt can pay. Basically, what can oftentimes happen is Bonyth can then oftentimes secure his natural expansion a little bit more rapidly, things along those lines. There is a possibility that Dewalt can just flood that natural expansion with a lot of units himself to go ahead and deny that to Bonyth as long as possible. and try to get up his own natural expansion. But having superior Reavers early in the game can be, you know, yeah, it's beneficial. I think the raw Dragoon count tends to be a little bit stronger. The Observer going out first, by the way, for Bonyth, so just wanting to get eyes. And he is going to see a lack of a natural expansion very, very rapidly. And I'm wondering if this Observer is actually going to get picked off. Looks like he is going to hold up short. He's hiding, he's hugging that right wall with that Observer before diving forward. And this is actually going to end up with the worst possible timing now for Bonyth. And I'm wondering if that was timed out by Dewalt as well to intentionally try to find, but I do believe the information was revealed just by a half second. That was an interesting actually build decision there by Dewalt. Like if that Observer was just a few seconds earlier, like if this was a normal one gate, if that was not obs first by Bonyth, he would have been too late. Like there's a possibility that that Observer gets sniped, at which point he doesn't see the 3 gate, interestingly enough. So I want to point that out. So today I learned along those. In the meantime, Bonyth is going to end up with that advantage. Bonyth, instead of waiting up on the high ground, moving to the low ground with that Reaver advantage. Dewalt, is he going to make a shot at this? He is going to have an Observer to maybe see the positioning potentially. Is going to take some free, well, taking a free shot overall, taking a big hit with those Dragoons, and now I think he should just settle. But you never know. Looks like more Dragoons are making that way out. So he will be at an economic deficit. There are recovery options. Sneaking up is going to lose his Observer. And wow, the Dragoon's moving. Oh, clever, using that to bait the Observer out of position and pick off the Reaver. So now he's picked off the Reaver. There's still going to be another one coming, but you got more Dragoons reinforcing. So might be able to get purchase on the low ground potentially with a swarm of Dragoons, depending on micro. So second Reaver out. So this is 3 exposed Dragoons. So Dewalt trying to make something of it. It looks like that's not going to happen. Looks like he's dedicating to the 3 gate. He's making no motions to go ahead and grab his natural expansion. Looks like he's just checking to see if another Observer is out in the field. Looks like an Observer is in fact on the way. That'll be good information to Bonyth as to whether he can get a gateway flood in the midst of this. He's already tacked on that second gateway. He's already got another Reaver queued up. This Observer getting hunted down. Oh, is he going to be able to make that corner? Okay, no, it gets picked off. So Bonyth in the dark still. And Dewalt continuing with the 3 gate. He wants to make it happen. And this is, okay, we only have 2 Zealots and a Dragoon, so 3 Dragoons out on the front. I don't think that's enough, honestly. So we've got, well, okay, so we got 9 Dragoons. They're going to potentially press into this. Maybe if he catches the Reaver completely exposed, like at a movement moment, like right that second, it could be something that happens. The Observer now making its way out. We have a shuttle and a Reaver also being built in the space of this. A couple Zealots tacked on. And a probe that got stuck behind enemy lines. But Dewalt still, yeah, just sticking to the 1 base tech. He's behind now massively, and he's cut workers altogether. So he's like, okay, I want the kill here. Oh, does lose that Observer on the side, but sees the 2 Reavers along that back edge and that natural expansion up. So if he's going to make something happen, he needs to move. Because he, what's the deduction here? Never do the math live. 11 worker difference. So if he deducted 11 supplies are actually close to even, plus the Reaver advantage. So Dewalt faking, he sees the shimmer and he's faking as though he's got something to deal with this, leaving the 3 Dragoons there. Now Dewalt making his way forward. The shuttle coming alongside. Does Bonyth end up... Bonyth being a little bit cautious because of some of those movements. And man, did he bait Bonyth out of position here? So we got Bonyth making his way down with all of these troops. That's opening up the natural expansion. And now these Reavers completely exposed. And if he loses that shuttle and those Reavers to his own Reaver, that might even up the difference here. Although this is a lot of troops that are coming from the rear and a close reinforcement point, so I still don't think it's likely, but might be able to get some Scarab shots. Yeah, I just still don't think it's enough though. Gets cleared out. That should be GG with that cleanup. I don't know if the well will GG there or still try to play it out, but fought off. That was kind of a nice play, at least to even up the Reaver count somewhat, but now the Zealot's going to march into the base, see the 4 gates already up. Oh, the Zealot actually getting eyes all the way back before getting sniped. More Dragoons trying to make their way out. A much, much later natural expansion getting dropped. At the very least, Dewalt is mitigating some of the opportunity for Bonyth to turn around and get aggressive on the map. Bonyth is tacking on shuttle speed, also getting that second gas and going up to 6 gateways now just to play it absolutely safe. And moving another Observer forward. This one might get picked off. So Dewalt's done a good job either through troop movement faking or other things out like that to keep Bonyth somewhat guessing, keep him guessing. But unfortunately, 3-gate versus 6-gate, the math is not on his side. Down Reavers, he's going to be down shuttle speed on top of everything else. And this is just, you can just see the worker count is nearly halved comparatively. So he's he's just in a really desperate economic position comparatively. So Bonyth can just wait for one more round of Dragoons, honestly, off the 6-gate and start pressing up, getting aggressive. And there's not a lot I think that Dewalt will be able to do to defend it, just because it's going to be too large a supply differential. In fact, I'm guessing in another minute or two, you might even see like double the supply. Right now it's 92 versus 64. Keep in mind, you do have like a 20 worker difference, but that's still 20 supply lead, which is huge for Bonyth. And you're going to have that shuttle speed alongside. And it looks like Scarab damage also getting upgraded, which honestly, Bonyth usually makes sure he gets that somewhere in the mid game. I've noticed a lot of other Protoss sometimes neglect that. Also expanding the 12 o'clock location while getting aggressive, making sure he's not missing anything. Weaver pressing forward with the rest of this, not able to get a shot, but the Zealots on the low ground. And the rest of the Dragoons peeling forward. Shuttle's gone. And Bonyth actually not taking the best fight there. So losing a lot of troops, now repositioning. Kind of baiting Dewalt out. Lost the shuttle right there. Reaver's still alive. This Reaver is still getting free shots, so wins the fight again, actually. So actually 2 magnificent fights right there for Dewalt, back to back. Has evened up at least the ground army count. The problem is Dewalt with the rebuild reinforcement, he's still sitting on 4-gate versus 6-gate. And that still doesn't mean he's opened up to go ahead and press an attack. Plus you have those upgrades happening behind, but that was well executed as far as the defense from Dewalt. The secondary problem is this 12 o'clock base is now going to come online, which means we're probably going to surge up to 8 or 9-gate in the space of this. And you can see the Citadel of Adun dropping, all sorts of that other bonus tech. So the situation getting worse and worse for Dewalt, but natural expansion's up. Supply count is surprisingly close, actually, in the midst of this. And I'm wondering if this is the wear them out tactic now from Dewalt in kind of tournament situation, or maybe he's just wanting to toss a game to kind of play out the situation. He's dropping a 5th gate in the space of this, and this is a 5th gate where he's got another 5 minutes on this mineral patch field at his main to make something happen. I'm wondering if he's going to try to take a risk and even go for a base at the 6 o'clock location. Defensive pylon dropped at 3 o'clock to scout there for Bonyth, and also to close that off at this stage at close range. 2 Weavers going to be in that shuttle shortly for Bonyth as well. And Dewalt now making his way out. Kind of so the Observer out front kind of fanned out Dragoon patches. This attack force not quite in there. Once out leg speed and +1 weapons are all online for Bonyth, I don't see a lot happening. The Reavers are going to be out of position though. And honestly, I think Dewalt was thinking about going for an all-in anyway. So engaging and actually catching a smaller portion of Dragoons along that left-hand edge. So going to get the bonus of that fight as well. But the thing is Dewalt has to win, period. And these Reavers, I don't think Dewalt cares about losing these workers. I think he already knew he wasn't going up to 3 bases and needed a chance to strike anyway. So Bonyth honestly doing him a little bit of favor here. Big Reaver shots. Now the Reavers have come back to base. They have that big Scarab damage upgrade, and this is a nice choke to do all sorts of damage. Yeah, that Reaver dying very, very rapidly. And you can see as soon as the Reavers are part of that fight, everything absolutely melting in the midst of this. There's GG from Dewalt. Bonyth dodging a little bit of a bullet there, but good play overall. Bonyth now on the scoreboard in the first set. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.